Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here with some StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm beta commentary. Today's game is going to be between SeoHyunLight and Elizabeth, who typically goes by Pasildan. This is a Terran versus Zerg matchup. We are here on the map Newkirk City, and let's go ahead and start this game off with some player information, beginning down over here in the lower left-hand spawn position with our blue Zerg player, SeoHyunLight. SeoHyun is a Korean Terran player, typically. As you can see here in the beta, he is playing as Zerg. He's part of the team Light Esports and is most noted for earning Grandmaster rank on every single server. He has also placed quite highly in many online tournaments, such as Payhelm and AGL, most recently taking first place at the North America Playhelm Daily number 332. His opponent over here in the lower right-hand spawn position is our red Terran player Elizabeth. Again, typically goes by Pasildan. For the beta, decided to play as Elizabeth. I don't know. I'm assuming this is just a name for the lulz during the beta. I can't imagine once the full retail version of Heart of the Swarm comes out that he's going to stick with it, but who knows? Crazier things have happened. Alright, Pasildan is a player from StarCraft Brood War. He's actually been playing casually since 2003. When StarCraft 2 came out, he decided to take esports seriously, and in October of 2012 actually joined the Zerg Gosu team. It's a Brazilian team that is growing in the international StarCraft 2 scene. Alright guys, that is some player information to kick off the match. Let's go ahead and hop right into the game here. We got a scout moving out for Pasildan. I'm probably just going to bounce in between calling him Pasildan and Elizabeth. It's likely to happen. Moving out towards SeoHyun's natural expansion. As we can see, there's a hatchery coming through right now for SeoHyun. Beyond that, not much else going on. No pool yet, although he does appear to be saving up for that right now and should be coming out with it in just a moment. He has hit those 200 minerals. Still no pool. There it is, finally coming out with that spawning pool. Of course, following that up with an extractor is a possibility, although I'm not entirely sure if that's going to happen. It's actually been a little while since I've done a Heart of the Swarm commentary, so we'll be interested to see the tactics that both players are deciding to use. Now, Pasildan will be coming out with a early expansion here, opening up with that one barracks, coming out with a marine, and then now building that command center here right at his natural. Now, the one thing we haven't done yet is taking a look around the map, so I'd like to show you some map stuff before we get too far into the game, just so you guys can get a better idea of what this is all about if you're not in the beta and you don't really know the layout of the land. Or the lay of the land, isn't that what they typically say? Alright, let's go ahead and start off by looking at the main base. We'll look at it from Pasildan's point of view. He is being actually scouted out right now by the overlord there of SeoHyun. So look around the main, fairly large main. We've got this ramp here, of course, leading into the natural expansion. And then a ramp leading out beyond that. Just taking a quick look over here, nothing too crazy going on. So beyond this ramp, we've got an expansion just below this to the lower left-hand position. And then beyond that, another expansion ramp leading right up into it. However, this one is obstructed there by the debris. And then we go from the ramp out of the natural north, and that's going to lead us into an expansion just above him here. There is a ramp, as you can see right there, leading into that. And then another expansion moving from the ramp beyond that up here. And then finally a central expansion right in this position. Two Xel'Naga towers here in the middle. This is just a two-player map, a two-player symmetrical map, as of course most StarCraft maps are symmetrical. Not two players, but symmetrical, is what I was trying to say there. 4 Marines in play, getting rid of this unbuildable, what is that thing called? What is this? Unbuildable plates? Okay, that's great. Plates that you cannot build on, essentially. Alright, so SeoHyun right now with 2 extractors here in the main. He's got some nice saturation going on. I can see 14 to 24 workers here in the main. Over at the natural, 3 of 24. Great addition here to Heart of the Swarm is that worker count on both Vespian and mineral gathering buildings. Couple Zerglings out here for SeoHyun. He's going to try to move in the natural. He's going to walk right into these 4 Marines and ends up losing both Zerglings, unfortunately. That is really unfortunate for SeoHyun. Usually you'll see 1 Zergling lost, but to lose both of those, again, that's not that great. SeoHyun, unfortunately, wasn't paying quite enough attention to his scouting lings at that point in time. A couple upgrades coming through here for SeoHyun. We do have the layer upgrade about halfway done. Also metabolic boost now just starting. Couple of Zerglings on the way through. And some creep spread taking place over here for SeoHyun. Back over here for Pasildan, we have another command center being built that will be used to saturate this main and the natural. Beyond that, 1-1-1 opening here, starting with the Rax factory and then the starport. And we'll be seeing actually some Hellions, and it appears that we'll be seeing some Banshee play here as well from Pasildan. Got the Marines at the Zelnaga Tower. A couple of Zerglings moving by. They're in trouble again. SeoHyun losing another Zergling, so putting him behind now. 81 resources so far this game. He has lost 3 Zerglings. More Zerglings joining the fray, and look at this very, very quick infestation pit. Also coming out with a Nidus network as well. Look at that. I'm actually quite interested to see what he's going to do with that. He's got a couple Overlords prepared to get vision of Pasildan's main base for some potential Nidus play. Of course, we expect that because, well, there's a Nidus coming through, and so early in the game, that's pretty crazy. Hellions roasting these Zerglings in the center of the map. Unfortunately, without that metabolic boost upgrade, really not having a chance of getting away. And these 2 Hellions now, this one with 7 kills, that with 5, killing off a creep tumor as well. Queen's moving down to try to push him back. Ling's also pushing forward to help engage, but not quite enough, of course, and also now just getting that metabolic boost. Now at this point he can deal with those Hellions, but that was really unfortunate there for SeoHyun. Getting his Zerglings caught by those Hellions in the center of the map without metabolic boost, pretty much a death sentence. Swarm Host now coming through, as SeoHyun does have the capability of building that, and here is the Nidus Worm being built right in the main now. Pasildan has spotted this. We'll be surrounding that with the SCVs and should be able to kill it before it finishes. There you go. Marines also helping to finish off. Keep in mind we do have this Overlord over here, which may help to spot vision. Banshee's coming through, although they have decided to pull back here in defense. Pasildan realizing that SeoHyun is going to be trying some shenanigans here. Another Nidus taking place right over here, and that's going to be rallied right outside of the natural expansion here for Pasildan. And now all of a sudden Pasildan, who was planning on moving out and being aggressive, is put in defensive mode. Nidus Worm pops, and we do have the Banshee engaging, but there are going to be quite a few units popping out. Swarm Host managed to get out as well. One of them stuck back at home here, as you can see, and a couple of Queens and Zerglings, but he's going to start pushing here with what he has, moving forward with these Zerglings, and also laying down those Swarm Hosts. Going to need a scan to spot those Swarm Hosts as they pop out those Locusts and start doing some damage. Locust very effective. He's probably going to scan right about now. There's the scan, taking out one Swarm Host, and Zergling's moving down to try to defend these Swarm Hosts. You're going to see another pop of those eggs in just a moment. Loses that one before that happens. A couple eggs coming from this Swarm Host. Viking taking out the Overlord. And Pasildan has properly dealt here with this engagement, but here comes another Nidus Swarm now over in this position. Scan takes out that Swarm Host. We get another Nidus Swarm about to pop. Pasildan realizes that it is happening, pulls with the SCVs, and is going to get us around yet again to take this out. He lets it finish here, pretty surprisingly because of how damaged it was. Lets it finish. A couple of Queens and Zerglings pop out. Viking here taking out the Overlord, now looking for more Overlords. He's going to get at least that one, and should have a pretty easy time dealing with this. Yes, moving down now with a tank, a couple of Hellions and Marines. Surround with the SCVs. We'll be taking out these Queens, also taking out the Creep Tumors. And SeoHyun, try as he might, was not really able to do much of anything there. So now preparing for a transition. Got a Baneling Nest and a Spire coming through. A couple more Swarm Hosts also in production. Swarm Host, really cool new unit. Probably one of my favorite new units of the Heart of the Swarm beta. It's not really a lurker, but kinda. No, not really. It's a unit that can burrow in the ground, and then it pops these eggs which hatch locusts, and then the locusts can do quite a bit of damage, and you get a strong line of these Swarm Hosts, and you defend it with other units. It can be quite impressive. You can see the locusts sort of working like broodlings. They've got a set duration. They only last so long, but man, do they do a lot of damage, especially when you get a bunch of Swarm Hosts and a bunch of those locust eggs popping. It can be pretty devastating and very difficult to deal with. Of course, you can just go on top of them and scan to take them out, and that's why the Zerg player will typically want to defend that with some other unit, be it Zerglings, Roaches, Hydras, Infestors, whatever. You defend these guys with some sort of unit once the opponent has figured out their position. Yeah, he's going to lift those up and put them in another spot here. So just using them as some defense. I'm going to keep those locusts there spawning in this spot. You can also rally them up, which is the other really cool thing. You can rally those locusts to go in a certain direction once they have popped out of the Swarm Host. Zergling's moving down, trying to engage these Hellions. Able to take out all but one. This Hellion sitting here with 14 kills. Also a Banshee to help defend that. Now, we haven't seen much aggression here from Pasildan. He was too busy defending early on, and now deciding to move into his third. We saw that command center building in the main, and after getting that main and natural saturated, has now moved into his third here, getting lots of S-beam going on. Actually, he's got refineries at all 3 bases, and finally going to see him move out here with these Banshees. This Banshee was 6 kill. We got a drop moving on. I thought this was another Banshee, but no, it is medevac filled with Marines going straight for the main. Let's see how much damage he can do. He has finished those 1-1 upgrades here for his bio. Uh-oh. Losing the Banshee there to those mutas, but again, he still has this drop over here. He's got an SCV that has scouted out this expansion as well, so he knows to deal with that. And Stimba Marines going to go Overlord hunting. You know, I'm actually a little bit surprised that he didn't try to take out a tech building, but I suppose realizing that, here we go, more mutas moving forward. He's going to quite easily dispatch of this medevac and all these Marines. Marines dropping down, stimming up, getting a muta kill out of the exchange, but then the medevac is a goner. And again, we still have this SCV over here, which he really doesn't even know that that's chilling out right there. So there we go. Pasildan has pulled back with that. So Pasildan knows about that expansion. We'll see if he decides to do anything about it. He is coming out in terms of his unit composition. Pretty standard. You're not seeing many new units here from Pasildan at all. Yeah, just going, as you can see, with Marine, Tank. Got one Hellion and one Viking as well. Marine is going to be probably his best answer right now to those mutas. Beyond that, you can of course go for the Thor. Viking's really not the greatest against the Mutalisk, so that's pretty much why we're not seeing him mass up those Vikings right now. The point in this matchup that you'll see Vikings come out is once Brood Lords come into play. That's when Vikings are going to be effective. But as for now, just sticking with Marines. May come out with a Thor or two, depending on how many mutas do we even have. Only 9 mutas, so it's not like there's a ton in play here. All right, we got SeoHyun now moving out with his Overlords, going to spread those out there. He lost a few of them to Vikings, but looks like he's taking his chance to get this scouting done. Now that he's got those mutas in play, he feels probably confident to defend against any possible Viking harass to those Overlords. Got a drop now over here. Now again, Pasildan did spot this expansion, so he's going to be stimming up those Marines and pushing. We do have a couple spine crawlers to defend, plus that Queen, and then also the main army over here. The Zerglings should probably push up to deal with this quite easily. We'll see how distracted SeoHyun is. Alright, so here we go. Push is happening. Immediately moves up with those Zerglings and Banelings, plus those spines, so those Marines not doing too much damage here. And the Muta is also going to move to take care of the medevac. That's a goner. Goodbye, medevac. Swarm host burrowing here at this central Zelnaga tower. Big push coming from Pasildan. He's going to push back, though, deal with these swarm hosts first and foremost, and we need some defense over there or else he is in trouble. He's dealing with a drop at the moment. He's going to lose all the swarm host, distracted by dealing with this drop over here. That is really unfortunate. That is a very, very, very expensive loss that he just took. Take a look at the resources lost. You can see SeoHyun a bit behind right now. Overlord's moving towards Pasildan's main, though, so does he have some nice action planned here? He does have this nice network, nothing in it at the moment. He's forced to come down, deal with this. Baneling popping right on the tanks. Perfect! Absolutely could not have gone more perfect there for SeoHyun. Caught the tanks unsieged, able to get a full surround, and took out everything that Pasildan has pushed with. Pasildan able to lift off here, one of those Thors, and pull back with that, but that was unbelievable that SeoHyun was able to catch those tanks out of position and unsiege. That was huge for SeoHyun, and gonna catch him back up in this game here. See what he's going to do from this point, though. Attempting to push out and do some damage. Now, there's a couple sieged up tanks, not going to allow him to push and hit this position. He could potentially try to go for this one, though, although I don't think that he knows about that yet. No, he doesn't, although we can see that sensor tower, so that's going to tell him, of course, that there's something going on over there, most likely an expansion. Of course, the danger is, though, that Pasildan sitting with this sensor tower is going to see any pushes coming from his Zerg opponent well before they get there, and that's going to allow him to reinforce with Marines and some medevacs. So yeah, going to be pretty tough going there, especially considering the fact that this is a planetary fortress as well. His best bet right now would be to move up with some mutas, although I'm not sure how many he has at the moment, now just sitting on the 4. It is transitioned now into an Ultralisk Cavern. Look at this, catching the drop in transit. Pretty awesome there, although he wasn't able to take out the medevac as those Marines land down, are a little bit too threatening for those mutas. At least he knows about it now and can try to be a bit of a deterrent. Big push coming towards the center of the map here for Pasildan, and he's going to make his way and quite easily take out this expansion. We also have these Zerglings over here who are hitting this spot right here, but they're going to have a hard time with a mass repair, which is taking place right now. Mass repairing SCVs, I think he should be all set. There's too few Zerglings, no Banelings there either, and that big push of Marines, tanks, and a Thor, also some supporting medevacs. Very scary right now here for SeoHyun. He's in a bit of trouble. Banelings moving down, popping on a couple of the tanks and Marines. Zerglings, yeah, unable to take this out. Took out all the SCVs, but He's going to lose all the Zerglings, and just calling the GG, realizing the huge force knocking at this expansion and that he really didn't have much else to deal with it, decides to end the game a bit early. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here in this game between Pasildan and SeoHyun. And thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the matchup. Really excited to be bringing you some Heart of the Swarm commentary. It's just been really tough finding replays for the beta, but as more become available, I will be doing more games for you, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.